Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts 4 Kaiserreich, soon to be the American Union State. So the election has just happened. Congratulations to Huey Long, he has now become the President of the United States of America. Big round of applause to him. And, okay, SP has contested the election. They, of course they would. So, if you didn't hear from the first episode, our plan is to go for the new leader of the American Union State, who is Martin Dice Jr. I'm 90% sure that's what his name was. Okay, Hoover's criticized the president. He doesn't matter anymore. So true. Throw one more on rifles. That seems okay. Now, I don't believe we'll be able to keep these divisions. These divisions actually might just get completely deleted once the Civil War actually begins in earnest. We probably don't need to worry about them anyways. Negative 223. I believe these numbers do reset once the Civil War breaks out. Just, you know, because otherwise, like, MacArthur would just be completely fucked. Like, what is a negative 80 modifier? Negative 52% on factory output and dockyard output. It's beautiful. We love to see it. Sure, you guys can have trade interdiction. I'm not worried about what MacArthur does to this Navy. I mean, I say that the AI has recently really been liking to invade, to navally invade American Union State. Something we do need to be aware of. It also, like, the International has been having a fantastic campaign so far. Like, they got Norway, they got Latvia, they got Finland, they've got Russia. Are any of you socialists? No, but I mean, theoretically, Greece could go socialist at some point. CNT might win their war, Italy might win their war. Overall, they're doing pretty well. Sweden's joined the Reichspakt. Not a big surprise. They are surrounded by two different socialist nations. Two countries that are both in the International. So it does make sense on their part. And by the way, does anybody know what day the president is actually sworn into office? It's like the third Monday of the month? Third Monday of January? Like the 20th-ish? I don't actually know. Okay, interwar aircraft. Now, I'm going to say there's probably like nothing. I mean, 85 days, maybe we can get you done. Is there anything here that's really cheap? 213, 213. I mean, I guess we'll take armor-piercing bombs. On the off chance that maybe we can get it finished in time. I don't believe so. I don't even know if actually basic heavy tank will be finished in time either. Okay. Long's inaugural address. The country's social problems have forced the American people to turn to radical solutions. The two-party system is broken down, and Huey P. Long is to be sworn in as the 31st president of the United States, with William Lemke being sworn in as vice president. In a stirring speech to Washington, D.C., Long has pledged to defend the interests of the people and to put the interests of the regular American above anyone else. However, the AFP's slim majority in Congress means that it may find it challenging to pass meaningful legislation, especially in the Senate, where the SPA senators have promised to filibuster any law they see as detrimental to America. And here's the thing. Do we want to strengthen our side, or do we want to weaken the socialist? Total control, total control. I mean, they're going to be total here, total here. What about us? Total, total. High, high, total, total, medium, high. I think we strengthen our position before we weaken the socialist position. One of Hugh's first acts was to provide relief to the farmers of America. Thus, his executive order directed to Secretary of Commerce. The order enforces price controls on farmers' products, providing credit to the farmers and provide tariffs on grains and other cereals. This will reverse the price slump that is driving farmers into poverty. Unwilling to wait to overcome the Senate filibuster, inciting the violent conflict going on in America, Long has passed the executive order bypassing Congress entirely. While farmers across the country rejoice, many in the country announced the executive order as a tyrannical act of the executive branch. You guys don't like food? You guys don't like being farmers? What happened to America? This used to be a country of farmers, and now we got the hoity-toity, the hoity-toity men in Washington. The opposition denounced as Long as a tyrant. Though they agreed on little else, the Democrats, Republican, and the Socialists have quick to denounce Long publicly across the nation for the enactment of Executive Order 7037, claiming it to be an overreach of the executive branch and the start of a slide into tyranny. Opponents have gone so far as to disobey any law that King Long wishes to impose upon America. Jack Reed has even stepped to the podium to call Huey Long the American Corneo, and waves around folders of recorded hate crimes committed by President Long's followers. Okay, so I mean, everyone is a little upset. Okay, what do we want? 171 days. Thing is, like, none of you are. I mean, I guess we'll take range improvements. I don't think we'll finish these. Actually, what is it saying here? When does 40 days? So I think Improve Machine Tools will be finished. I don't think anything else will. I'm pretty sure. Wealth and fear go hand in hand. From New York to San Francisco, the rich and powerful protested Long's election in the Hearst newspapers and in congressional addresses. It is clear that the wealthy, whether politically minded or not, are furious that the reforms Huey Long is passing, as well as his opposition to free market policies passed under Hoover. This has trickled down to the middle-class readers and begun to speak to President Long as a would-be dictator as well. Okay. By virtue of authority vested in me, I, Huey Pierce Long, President of the United States of America, do declare the intrinsic value of the poor have to relief. A new government agency will be created to met out any basic need of every American, so that our nation's great wealth is not felt only by the upper echelons of power, but also in the lowest hovel. Also included is the executive order is a wide array of tax increases on the wealthiest Americans. While incredibly popular with the AFP's base, and hardly unexpected considering Long's share the wealth slogan, many Americans are protesting what appears to be a massive overstep of the executive power of the president. Constitutionality of the increasing taxes by fiat, and now and how this new agency would even manage to operate are questions that have been thrown the government into immediate chaos and confusion. Long has already begun campaigning hard, using press releases to rail against the corporate order, which would see America fall to cynicalist rhetoric. Okay, so we get some more power. The 5% stability, I'm sure that really matters on the negative 82 that we are currently experiencing. And okay. In a highly publicized court case, Chief Executive Charles Evan Hughes has declared the Executive Order 7048 is unconstitutional. This is a heroic court case that split 5-4 against the president. When news reached the White House, Long fumed at the news that the court would block the necessary reforms needed to ensure the safety of America. Now, I don't know much about... Well, I know a little bit about the American legal system, right? Could... Between the passing of the executive order in, like, February 1st and the Supreme Court speaking on it on the 7th, that seems, I don't know, extremely fucking fast. And can the Supreme Court even, hear decisions? Can they even make decisions on just anything? I thought they had to be, like, brought court cases and be like, how did we, they have to go through the whole appeals process. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. The decision by the Supreme Court to declare his executive order unconstitutional has made Long take an extra legal solution. Citing Lincoln's court packing during the Civil War as precedent, Long has asked the Senate Majority Leader to remove the filibuster for judicial appointees, and has increased the size of the Supreme Court to 15. It is clear that Long intends to appoint 6 pro-AFP judges to the branch that shall ensure that his executive orders will be constitutional. This would provoke a firestorm of protests throughout the country, and even some members of the Congress that have so far remained neutral or supportive of Long. Well, there goes that 5% stability we just had. But again, we don't need it, baby. We don't need that shit. Stability is for dorks, and that's okay. MacArthur and the army remove Long. Long's support of Washington, D.C. has finally bottomed out. Douglas MacArthur marched onto the White House today with National Guard and Army units to restore order, having declared Long to be incapable of properly carrying out the function of the constitutional president, and its attempt to arrest him at the White House. MacArthur's marchers reminded many in D.C. who cocked the army in 1932, except that these soldiers are motivated to preserve the status quo instead of smashing it, and were cheered instead of booed. Having been tipped off by AFP informants and MacArthur's command staff, however, President Long has been able to stay ahead of MacArthur's men and has escaped to the Capitol by motorcade. MacArthur has chosen to inhabit the White House and coordinate an investigation into Long's from the Oval Office. Some of you suggested that, should Vice President William Lemke prove equally incapable, John MacArthur might be sworn in as a provisional president. Okay, so how many more days do we have on you? Can we get 5 days before the American Union state rises up? I mean, yes, as soon as I press this button, they rise up. So as long as we wait the 3 days for this to finish, we'll be golden. President Huey Long has escaped to Baton Rouge and has declared that General MacArthur is a traitor to the people of America. He has gained ready listeners among the number of Southern governors, all of whom have recognized that they are no longer recognizing MacArthur's authority and demand his resignation. Long has spoken out on the radio, urging all Americans to support a legitimate president and fight against tyranny, the tyranny that MacArthur represents. Okay, so now we will switch over to the American Union state. Fantastic. So what troops do we have? We have 15 divisions. We're gonna throw them all here. Can I recruit units immediately? No. How many trains do we have? 55? Okay, that's actually not bad at all. Let's build up. We'll go with Colts. Go 3 factories on you. We'll go 1 on train just in case. 1 on support equipment. 1 on trucks. 2 on artillery pieces for now. Give me basic close air support. Give me 4 planes on you. And we'll go 1 on convoys. That seems fine for now. Ignore this, ignore this. And for our national focus, this is every man a king. We're building the country. The only thing we can do... The only thing we can do is this one here. So yeah, form a militia to a fighting force. Research. Okay, so we did get some of these techs. And it is 37, so we go 1 and then 2. And you know what? We'll go excavation 1 as well. All of those sound good. Give me military factories in New Orleans, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Happy to see that. And we cannot... Can we mobilize? Oh, we got some more units. Excellent. 25... We'll take some of you off here. Also, let's make sure we actually assign some generals. So, Patton on you. I'm just going to draw these troops here. I know you don't want enough room on that, but that's okay. So, New York City has fallen. Who do they fall to? They fell to the Socialists? That's fine. And MacArthur's been sworn in as president. An attack on the Constitution, for sure. Okay, so you have 3, 4... 3. The problem, of course, is that the American South doesn't have that many troops. Like, if you're in, like, California, you can raise up a decent army. If you are, you know, in the North, you know, Illinois can train a lot of troops. The South is by, it's a lot less populated. Let's just put it that way. But our units are ready. Okay. I thought the game was going to crash. Riots in New England. We'll see if the Canadians intervene. Do I want them to? I don't actually know. A large crowd recently gathered outside the State House at Baton Rouge to congratulate Huey Long for defying the federal government. News agencies were soon to arrive on the scene when suddenly the crowd began unfurling the battle flag of the old Confederacy. Sensing an impending political disaster, Huey Long had his men confiscate these radical symbols of the Civil War. When the governors arrived, the press only saw the image of a defiant America determined to fight the illegitimate powers of federal corruption and syndicalist oppression. The governor is now meeting with Long inside the State House to determine the proper response to the federal government's deadline. Okay. Okay, increased National Guard clashes. America's unity is quickly breaking down as General MacArthur's dictatorship alienates more and more citizens. So it looks like we did control southern Texas. And the Declaration, Bladensburg. National populism goes down. Again, the thing is that we want... we don't want the War Parties Committee. We want... I'd actually have to look this up between episodes, exactly how we get the leader we want. Okay, Charles Lindbergh has arrived. Yeah, I do want those 3 military factories for sure. While many of the Southern senators were in favor of drafting new amendments on the spot, the urge to retain the legitimacy of the continuous American government prevailed. The AIP's Declaration of Legitimacy was drafted in Baton Rouge over the course of a few days, painstakingly listing their grievances with the federal government. This declaration outlined the lack of protection by the federal government given to its citizens and the role of the state to protect the welfare of the poor. The signatories declare that it is within their constitutional right to organize militia against tyranny, and that the federal government's deadline should not only be ignored, but must be defied. So, MacArthur, what are you doing for your war plan? Federal to seize southern Texas. You fucking garbage, man. Okay, cool. The dissolution of the United States Navy. What boats do we have? The answer is, like, not a lot. Okay, let's combine the Navy. All of you guys meet here, please. So, I mean, it's looking to me... Oh, are they doing... it looks like MacArthur might be doing the Denver plan, which I don't think it's actually called the Denver plan. But it looks like they're going to be aligning themselves... westward. That's the direction I'm thinking of. 3... I think it's 7 for Alabama? Yeah, go 7 on Alabama here. So I think we're going to probably lose northern Texas as well. But we should gain all of this territory. And then MacArthur's just going to be in this area here. But that area sucks. So I think that's good for us. The Arkansas River Campaign. After southern Texas, Arkansas and Oklahoma too have been overrun by federal militias. Despite their governors declaring support for Huey Long, with both these states and San Antonio firmly in federal hands, Houston and Austin will probably fall soon. Well, that's a little sad for us. American Union State Congress convenes. Through the grapevine, dozens of congressmen have heard of Huey Long assembling Baton Rouge. Some came to wish Long well and stayed, others simply to court favor with the revolution. These meetings in Baton Rouge began to take on a congressional appearance, with Coughlin standing as the president of the attending senators. Aware of the growing determination to defy the federal government, and that the lack of willingness to negotiate meant civil war was all but certain, a large number of politicians have slinked away to the north, though those that remain seem more determined than ever to see victory. Okay, Houston has collapsed. We knew that was going to happen. Please get your troops to the border. We're not going to lose South Carolina too, right? Hey, okay, North Carolina has actually gone for us as well. Let's go. So if I know correctly, I'm pretty sure Tennessee will flip to us. And I think these 3 go to the CSA. Hey, we've got Virginia. Early this morning, General Butler's forces were repelled from Richmond by General Patton's forces, after surprisingly crossing a large distance in a short amount of time. Okay, so let's get 12 of you on the border with the CSA directly. Okay, scramble for the corridor. So like I said, I want all of brown here. And then, of course, I want Red Army to fight the Socialists. Just a, a little bit of irony there. And the red flag over Washington. As forces of both self-proclaimed presidents read along, battle on the borders of Virginia, SPA militias finally reached the abandoned Washington. The city, completely empty of any military presence, was taken easily, with historic landmarks and rivers over the Potomac to Alexandria being secured by militia first. Since there were no signs of a counter-assault, the militia soon began to transform the National Mall and other sites, with most attention being paid to the Capitol. Hauling down the old flag over the home of the fled Congress, and soldiers paused for photographs, interviews with socialists and local newspapers. We're gathering to cheer over the flag of the CSA being raised over D.C. And I do wish we had more units. How many more days till the deadline? 3 days? Cool. Excellent. Canada sees New England. Honestly, I think that is good for us. Okay, we want to push you in this direction. I mean, I do want to push you towards Texas, but I understand we probably won't really get to see that done. 6 militias here. 9, 4, 3, 8. Okay, let's go 9 in North Carolina. These extra units will deploy here, but I'm going to put 1 more on the red line. Why would we play as New England? I actually didn't know you could switch to New England off this, but that is a little bit neat. Okay, so the war has now started. Just give me only convoys. I don't care about the rest of that stuff too much. Okay, so we're holding the line here. What about in the north? I mean, it looks like we can already start pushing our way into Maryland. I mean, the CSA looks like a lot of their units are actually pretty low health for some reason. I don't know why. And I do want my my entire Air Force primarily focusing on killing the Syndicalist. By far, they are the most important enemies we have. So we want to deal with them ASAP. I mean, if we can take, you know, Houston, we can take American cities away from the... Oh, did you not actually take Oregon and Washington? I could have sworn when they do this war plan, they also take these two states, but I guess not. Maybe it depends on the stability of the country. Actually, I don't know. The war begins in Oregon. Okay, never mind. They just take it immediately there. That's fine. Liberia's pieced out. I want you guys moving your way up north. We want to try to strike, like, fast. Before the CSA has the opportunity to really train and deploy a ton of militia, we want to get this done ASAP. I think we might have the largest army to start off with. I don't know for certain. I mean, it looks like we might even be able to get like a quick encirclement against all these troops in West Virginia, which I would say is going to be lovely for us. But for right now, this is a pretty good time for us to end out this episode. So if you have enjoyed, run a thumbs up. Not enjoying, throw some down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.